Good morning. Welcome to EXSIN Live. It's Dave and Phil. And Phil, we've had some interesting discussions with salespeople over the last couple of years.
Oh boy, that's an understatement.
And there's one thing that rings true. It's your attitude.
Has a lot to do with it. I think we've seen good attitudes. We've seen not as good attitudes, and we've seen horrible attitudes. And there's no doubt it has an effect.
Well, we've met with people, and they have said we're priced too high.
Yeah, too expensive
at multiple companies.
Oh yeah,
right.
Well, that's the easy one. You always go to that.
Our product, our client doesn't want our product. Our potential client doesn't want our product. I don't know how we're going to sell this. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm scared. I'm lost. Look, if you walk in defeated,
you're defeated.
You're defeated.
Yeah.
I mean, winners always have a winning attitude.
Well, I think with sales, it's interesting. I mean, listen, there's realities in life, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, sometimes there's an old saying in sales, there's always going to be somebody cheaper. And that's true. There's always somebody that's going to be willing to do it for less than what you're willing to do it for. That doesn't mean you're priced too high. It could mean that they're not priced high enough. But it is about attitude, and it's about understanding your product and having enough belief in what you're selling and understanding what the product or service you're selling well enough to communicate, educate, and show people why maybe you're worth that extra 10% or 15% or whatever the case may be.
Well, we typically find that the price is not the problem.
No, the problem's the problem.
The problem's the problem.
Right.
And for a salesperson, you need to realize that what problem are you solving, and are you presenting your offering in a way that makes it valuable enough to your ideal client that they want to purchase from you?
Well, and I think, too, we've seen this a lot. A lot of times people, and you see this a lot with technical type sales, right? They'll think, well, I need somebody that has a background in X to go sell this. No, you need hunters. You need people that want to go out and truly sell your company and the services or products you offer. You can do enough training for a salesperson to understand the product, be able to communicate what the benefits are, be able to communicate how it's going to help them, how it's going to solve their problems, without being a complete expert in that industry. You almost always see them you'll see them in engineering firms, you'll see them in pharmaceuticals, you'll see them in sophisticated technology type sales. And I think they're looking for the wrong type of person to begin with. If what you're looking for is somebody that can go out and go hunt and gather prospective clients, you need to be focused on that skill set, not the technical skill set.
That's an interesting statement, and it's a true statement, because if they can't build relationships
doesn't matter.
Grow a network, it doesn't matter how smart they are. It doesn't matter what degree they have. They are not going to be able to connect and grow your company the way you want it grown. You need people that understand professional salesmanship, right? That understand that it's an activity-driven thing to get people to know, like, and trust you.
Yeah, if they don't know, like, and trust you, they're not going to do business with you. And as we've said on here several times, it's sequential. They got to know you before they can like you, and they got to like you before they can trust you.
And if their attitude sucks,
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Who have you ever wanted to hang out with somebody that has a bad attitude? That just brings the whole. You. Yeah, it's exhausting.
It's exhausting, and it's horrible. And if you have employees right now that work with you that are telling you you're priced too high, or they can't sell for this reason or that reason, they're excuses. Look, if there is a problem, okay, I got it.
We were coaching with a client, one of the sales people this week, and all we were hearing was why they couldn't do it. And I said, well, hell, we need to just shutter the whole damn place.
Shut it down.
We need to shut the whole damn company down. Shit. Nobody's going to buy this stuff.
Call all our clients, tell them we're closed.
Call the hundreds of clients that have already bought and said, you made a terrible mistake. This doesn't work.
I'm sorry, we were wrong. We're offering refunds next week.
But it's not easy to find, and you've got to develop people. You can't, we've talked about this to nauseum, I'm sure, for people that have listened to us for years, but you got to develop people. You got to help them, build those sales muscles, right? So they know what. And listen, sales is not about convincing somebody to do something that's not going to help them. Sales is really is an education play. And it's that's why the attitude's so important. You got to have the belief in what you're selling. Because if you don't really believe in what you're selling, the first objection you get, you're going to roll up your stuff and go home.
No doubt.
I mean
that's 100% true.
You know, we had a guy yesterday. It was a referral, and I didn't respond within 5 minutes to his email.
Oh God.
I call him, and he obviously had me in caller ID, and he says, "Hey Phil, you're too late. I already took care of it. Bye."
Okay.
I was laughing. I was like, "Oh, good Lord." You know, and you can't let that kind of stuff affect you.
Nope.
I mean, it's not personal. I don't know this guy from Sick. It was a referral. I've never met him. Might be a great guy. Might just been having a bad moment. Might just be a jerk. I don't know.
We don't know. That's fair.
But it doesn't matter. So I could have let that ruin my whole day. 5 seconds we moved on?
Yeah.
I mean, that's part of it. You've got to be very confident in what you're doing and why you're doing it. I mean, because you're going to hear a lot more no's than you're going to hear yeses. That's just part of it. I know none of this is sexy. Nope. Everybody wants to hear the quick fix.
They want that $1 million idea that takes 2 seconds. It's not out there.
It's not out there. You got to go do the work. But if you do the work, man, the sales profession's so rewarding. I mean, it's so rewarding. I mean, nothing happens in any organization until something's sold. And you can have the greatest widget, you can have the greatest delivery system, you can have the greatest all this stuff. But if you don't have a great business development team that's bringing top of funnel new people in to the business every day, nobody's ever going to know about all that good stuff you can do. I mean, it's so critical.
And I think there's another way to approach your sales team that we talk about sometimes, but realize salespeople are the ultimate problem solvers for their clients.
Should be. Yeah.
And as a salesperson, you should treat it as kind of a fun game with your product. How can I position my product as the solution for their pain point? They don't care what it costs because it makes the pain go away.
Yeah.
And if you take that attitude into it, and if you can't, then it's okay. Walk away. Go to the next one.
Some will, some won't. Yeah. So what?
Some will, some won't. So what?
I mean, you just can't. I mean, you cannot take it personal.
Words of wisdom from Phil.
I mean, I used, when I first got into sales, oh, good Lord, it was such a colossal failure in every way possible because I was such a bull in a china closet. I mean, I look back on all the money I cost myself just through my actions, and it's sickening because I was just so...
You were Chris Farley in that.
Oh, I was so driven. Movie. God, I was so ate up. It was so bad. And I would just run over people. You know, I was so excited to tell them about how we were going to fix them. I wouldn't even listen. I wasn't even hearing what they were saying. I was getting to the solution. No, shut up. I got a solution. Shut up. You know, it was just so bad, you know.
But you had a good attitude.
I had a good attitude. And because I was so hard-headed and I made enough calls, I made a lot of money. Even my first year in the business, I did really well, you know, because I was just hard-headed. I just wasn't going to not go be successful. And but I was terrible at it. I was horrible. Luckily, I had people invest in me. I had guys that mentored me, that saw some potential in me, that brought me along, kind of shaved off those rough edges as well as you could with me. And, you know, 30 years later, it's been a good ride. But I think I think we lie to ourselves in trying to say that sales is easy. Sales is not easy.
Nope.
It's not complicated, what you need to do. But it's not easy. I mean, it's hard to get up and do every day. And that's why, again, I think when we're looking for salespeople, we've got a good friend I'm not going to mention her name, that's currently looking for some new salespeople we've been communicating with. And he said it's tough to find. And he's 100% right. It's tough, but it's worth it. And you got to get it right. It's not something you rush into. But I think we got to be looking for the right things, right? We can't be getting sidetracked.
Positive attitude, able to connect with people, easy to talk to,
tough-minded, thick-skinned.
You know, not gonna
smart. You got to be able to. You got to be able to
adjust,
learn.
Yep.
You got to be able to learn. I mean, but you know, when you find that person and you invest in them, you develop them. Man, that's the gift that keeps giving. I mean,
Life is good.
Life is good. And sales is. We were on I don't even know which call it was this week, but we were talking to one client this week, and they were saying they were arguing with themselves with their own words.
Yep.
Well, these people have all the market share, and these people do this, and these people do that, and then they say, well, but their stuff doesn't work, and well, you can't have it both ways.
Nope.
I mean, you've got to have that conviction in belief in your product, and I know I keep saying that because it's so important, because it's tough, and people are going to hit you with every objection known to mankind instinctively, without even really hearing what you're saying, and you got to kind of almost survive. You ever watch fighting, like a boxing match or UFC? There are these people that come out early and they're just throwing punches left and right, and it's throwing the kitchen sink at you. And many times, if you survive that early onslaught,
you're good.
You end up winning.
Right.
And it's similar in sales. They're going to hit you with an onslaught of objections. Oh, it's too expensive. Oh, I don't really know. Well, and you just got to just pace yourself and just work through it and get through all the insanity to where they're actually listening to what you're saying. And that's when you can start educating and helping them understand how our service, our product's going to take this problem off your plate. That's the name of the game.
And as we've talked about the cultivation loop and everything else, if you're a salesperson, don't expect to walk in the first day and sell something to somebody.
You can't? Really?
Well, you can.
No, I can't.
But
not consistently.
It is a grind. It is continuous activity.
Yep.
It is day in, day out.
It's running a system.
It is running a system. It is.
I mean, and giving yourself a break. Like I said, sales is hard. 10 and 5. You do 10 and 5 every day. 10 prospect calls, 10 new prospect calls, introducing yourself, networking, meeting people at chamber, meeting people at networking events, walking into a conference, whatever it is. But if you do 10 new people a day, 10 new touches where you're introducing your product, introducing your company, 5 client calls a day, checking in on them, seeing how they're doing, cross-selling other services to them.
It's fact.
If you just do 10 and 5, you start with the top 60, it works. It's math.
If your attitude's right.
If your attitude's right.
So today's about attitude. I'm just going to tell you this. Henry Ford said it best. If you believe you can, or if you believe you can't, you are right.
100%.
It's a lot easier to believe you can and a lot more fun. So we're going to leave you with this. Attitude check for your team, attitude check for yourself. Make sure you're in the right place before you ever go into a sales call.
Yeah, and you got to really, there's our buddy, Matt.
Hey,
Hi,
Matt.
Matthew. But attitude's hard to manage. I mean, I've been in tough situations with clients. I've been fired multiple times, sometimes by the same person multiple times. It's usually not because of what you're doing. It's because people either don't have the patience to see something through, or there's financial reasons. I mean, there's real reasons.
Yep.
But you've got to maintain a consistent positive attitude through the whole process. If you don't do that, you're going to fail. If you will trust in your system, trust in your process, do 10 and 5 every day, start with the top 60, develop those salesmanship muscles, right? Make it your profession, not something you're doing to people, but how you go about doing things. You'll have a great career. It's fun stuff.
Fun stuff. So with that, this week's edition of EXSIN Live, Dave and Phil, we are out of here. Oop-de-doo.